Hey guys. So, as I was doing my interview yesterday with the nurse that was interviewing me at my new job, the place that I got hired yesterday, um, we were talking, and he noticed that on my resume, obviously, I have that I'm certified in phlebotomy as well as a certified clinical medical assistant. And he was like, "So, why are you applying to work at a nursing home um, if you have these certifications?" And so I was kind of explaining to him, like, the fact that because I didn't have like over a year of experience, that a lot of these places wouldn't even really take a second look at me because all they want is experience. And I thought it was crazy that he was telling me his wife was having the same issue. And I guess, like, she went to school to be an MRI tech. Um, and so once she was out of college, she started applying at the local hospitals in our area. And she even applied for a couple hospitals in Chicago. For those of you who don't know, I live in Northwest Indiana, so I'm really not that far from Chicago. Um, there are quite a few people who live in my area that actually work in Chicago. So it's really not that far. I mean, it is a nice little commute time, but it's not really that far if you like to drive on the expressways and things like that. So I just thought that it was crazy that, like, not only are the more entry level positions that don't necessarily need a degree having problems with people not hiring because of lack of experience. But like the nurse was saying, and I said yesterday, how are we supposed to get the experience if nobody's willing to take a chance on us? Like, I constantly see on the news, and I've seen it on YouTube and other places where there's a shortage in healthcare workers, and that's why a lot of people during the COVID, like the big peak times of COVID, people were being expected to still be at work even though they were COVID positive or exposed to a COVID patient and waiting for test results. Like, it's because there's this huge shortage of healthcare professionals, but then you're not willing to give newly graduated or newly educated healthcare professionals a chance, which seems ridiculous to me because obviously, due to COVID, there's a lot of people who haven't gotten the chance to do externship. And I do plan on making a separate video going into more detail about that because obviously I was affected by that as well. Um, so I will explain that in another video. But like some places, even if you had the chance to do an externship, they want experience beyond that, which, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Like, you have to be willing to be just a little bit more flexible, give people time to learn the skills, solidify their skills, and, like, if it was me, okay, if I was a doctor and I was hiring a medical assistant, and I got a new grad who is like, you can tell they're eager to learn, they're all excited because they want to get into the workplace. I would spend the time needed to train them to do the things that they need to do the way that I would want them to do it. Like, say for example, I had a certain way that I liked to handle my patient care tasks. I would rather spend the time to train this person to handle those patient care tasks in the way that I prefer than to hire somebody who's already been trained in a particular way of doing these patient care tasks, whatever these tasks might be, and then have to like retrain them. Because even with experience, you're not always going to have people who do things the way that you like to have them done, or who is going to automatically understand the way that you like things done. Like, different doctors and providers, like, do things way differently. Some might want you to basically be able to read their minds a little bit and know what to expect, like what things to have out in the exam room for certain procedures or exams, just as a precaution, in case they decide to do such and such. But others might not want you to do those things for whatever reason. It just varies from provider to provider. And so, like I said, I would rather take the time out to encourage more people who are new grads to want to get into the field, so then we don't have this high of a shortage of, educated, credentialed providers. Like, I just think it sucks that, these schools are churning out graduates, like, especially right now in Indiana, they are still advertising for the same type of program that I just went through. So you're churning out graduates, but these graduates aren't getting jobs. So what's the point of churning out graduates if the employers, the clinics, the doctors are not going to hire because they don't have enough experience? And sometimes people get lucky and get hired on their externship. But if you don't get to do an externship, how can you get lucky and get hired on your externship? It's just like, it's frustrating. And I was really surprised to hear that this nurse's wife, as an MRI technician, couldn't find a job, because I am constantly seeing them advertised on Indeed, on Facebook even, and like, how? How can you not give them a chance? Like, the MRI techs, at least from my understanding, need to have a degree. So these people have degrees. We're not even just talking about a certification program and a certificate. We're talking about like people who have gone to school for years to do this, and they can't even find jobs. It's just like, it's disheartening, it's discouraging, and it's frustrating, because I feel like us new grads, people who are new to this environment, I mean, I'm not necessarily new to the healthcare field, obviously, because I've been part of it since 2016, but I'm trying to enter a new aspect of the healthcare environment, and it feels discouraging to people who, recently were trained. So let me know if you guys feel the same way about this. Have you ever, like, experienced it yourself? I know a lot of you who have followed my phlebotomy videos, you know, I've heard lots of people say that it's been hard for them to find a job, or they haven't found a job years after getting certified. Like, obviously, next month, it will be 2 years since I became a nationally certified phlebotomist, and I still haven't found a job in phlebotomy. So it's really frustrating. Even with all the COVID stuff, like, they had specialized COVID jobs. I can't even get a job as a COVID tester, because even though I've been a phlebotomist for 2 years, they didn't want to accept the 180 or 200 sticks or whatever we had in school as experience. So it's frustrating, and I just want to hear your guys' opinion on it. What do you guys think? Do you think it's fair? Do you think that they should be a little more lax and, like, give these newly graduated healthcare professionals or newly certified healthcare professionals a chance? All right, guys, I will talk to you in my next video.